We all know what pain feels like. A headache, a sore back. But what if pain isn't just in your body? It's in your brain too. Today on Table Talk, we're breaking it down. What pain really is, and why understanding it might actually help you feel better. So, what's the first thing that comes to mind when you hear the word pain?
I feel like physical injuries, so like minor and major ones, so breaking your arm, getting a paper cut, getting like random bruises.
Okay, so I'm actually the complete opposite, and I immediately jump to the emotional pain, the heartbreak, the drama, because I'm such a romantic. I love those romance movies, and the happy ending always makes me happy.
Honestly, just being uncomfortable and like hurting is all that comes to mind.
I'm more with the emotional pain too, but it's more like when I get anxiety or stress, it kind of turns into stomach cramps, like really painful stomach cramps.
Like, I know on my period, I get really, really bad cramps, so
me
sometimes
too.
like that's really painful. So speaking of that type of pain, have you guys ever experienced like really bad pain? Like, what's the most horrible, painful experience you've ever gone through?
Ooh, okay, so one time, I think I was like 8 or 9 in the story. I was camping with my family and they had the tent set up and there were like ropes holding up the tents. And I was like running around with all my cousins and stuff. Then I tripped over one of the ropes holding up the tents. And I got rope burn so bad that the area was white. Like just, like it was as white as this table. And I still have the scar to this day.
Actually?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that sounds really painful.
Okay, I don't have a scar to show for mine, but mine is my chronic back pain. I've had it for like years now, and I kind of did it to myself. Like I had it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go see my doctor, and she was like, go to physio, and then I was like, I don't need physio. I'm fine. It'll work itself out, and it didn't. So we're here now, and yeah. It's getting better. It's getting better now. So.
That's perfect for today's episode, guys.
I've also went to physio many times. That's not what my most painful pain is, though. You mentioned period cramps, and I'm gonna say that is the worst for me because there was one time when like it hadn't come for a while, and then all of a sudden it came in the middle of the night, and I was up for like 5 hours crying, and it got so bad that I started throwing up.
Ooh.
Not because of the sickness, but because of the pain. It was so bad.
That sounds unbearable. I'm so sorry.
Oh my god. Yeah, I feel like period cramps are the kind of pain that's like really, really hard to explain. For you guys, what is a really hard to explain pain that you guys experience?
I think for me, I sometimes actually really agree with you when it comes to the emotional aspect of pain, because I think my emotional pain will manifest its way into physical, because I'll start getting like stomach aches, I'll get nauseous, I'll get like a headache, and I don't even know how to explain that to people, because I can't explain that, oh, I'm sad, but now I'm like throwing up, and now I'm dizzy, and now I need to go to bed. But yeah, do you guys ever experience that?
I feel like sometimes when I'm stressed, like I get headaches.
Especially during exam season.
Ooh. And like I feel like sometimes when you have headaches, people are like, oh, where does it hurt? And I'm like, I don't know. My head just hurts. I don't know what you want me to say.
Everywhere.
Exactly.
Anyone else?
Yeah. I'd say like grief is really hard to explain as pain.
Yeah.
Honestly, people only get it once they go through it, and it's a lot of like shallow comments, just like, oh, like sorry for your loss, blah, blah, blah. But like you don't know until you know, like until you're in that situation yourself, what it really feels like. So that can be really hard to explain to like someone who doesn't get it really.
Emotional pain is very difficult to explain. I'd say for me, the most hard to explain, though, would be my throat for when I strain my voice, because everyone's like, you can sing perfectly fine. You sound so good. Why are you lying to me? You can talk. Just talk. When I'm on vocal rest, and it's so annoying.
Yeah, one time I had a performance, but I'd lost my voice, and I was trying to sing, and people were like, oh my god, you sound fine. And I'm like,
but I don't know my best.
It doesn't mean you feel fine.
Like I might sound good, but I can sound better.
we recently had a performance and they didn't let us warm up.
Oh yeah.
And we had to go on stage like that, and we couldn't. The group before us, they weren't that good, but we tried explaining to them that that wasn't even our best because we weren't warmed up. Our voices were still.
We were like half an hour late for our performance, so we could not warm up. And
what about like the weirdest pain that you've experienced? Like, it's like really strange, not something you're used to.
I feel like sometimes I get random pains in random areas. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's just really weird.
Not
I don't know if
cramps
it's
in stomach,
cramps.
but like we're saying like cramps up.
Or like, when I get like cramps in like my rib cage when I'm running or being active. It's such a weird kind of pain.
Yeah. See, what I mean is like, you know, when you're like having something like you hit your hand and then you don't react, like you know it's painful, but you don't react until like a few seconds later, like, oh,
the
it
adrenaline
hurts
rush. Ooh.
So pain does show up in many different ways. Sometimes it's physical, sometimes it's emotional, and a lot of the time it starts with the brain. That's why we're bringing in two amazing guests who work with pain every day. Up next, we have pain specialists to help us break it all down.
Today we're joined by two professionals who help people manage pain every day. Raymund Tanalgo is a physiotherapist with over 10 years of experience and holds a therapeutic pain specialist certification for chronic pain management. Raymund Tanalgo is a practical nurse who works with advanced pain treatments and has supported thousands of patients. Together they run Wellness Bliss Physio in Ajax. Welcome to Table Talk, guys.
Thank you for having us.
We're happy
We're
to be
glad
here.
to have you guys here.
We're excited.
Okay, so to start us off, what actually is pain and how do our brains play a role in how we feel it?
That is a good question. Pain is our body's way of saying that there is something wrong, because the brain is the center of the body for pain. So stimulus is being transmitted to the brain through our nerves to the nervous system, and then the brain interprets it and processes the information that it got from the nerves. It's like touching a hot surface. We don't know that it's hot not until it's transmitted to our brain by the nerves. And that's why, as I've heard you mention earlier, people react differently from other people, because people vary from person to person. So how she reacts with pain may be different from how you would react from pain.
Mm-hmm. That's so true.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I have an analogy for pain. This picture represents a bus and someone's walking on the street. If you're walking on the street and you trip over, this signal will be sent to your brain, and your brain will be interpreting that signal that there's danger going on. And so the brain would send pain signals so that you won't be able to put so much weight on your foot because it's painful. But then, in the same manner, when you see a bus coming and you know that this bus is gonna hit you, so the brain interprets that, hey, this would be more dangerous than the ankle sprain, and so you're still able to walk even if you're in so much pain, and your brain sends signal that the bus is the bigger threat at this time and that you have to move. That's how our brain works. So what I'm trying to say is the pain is 100% controlled by our brain. And our brain, the good thing about our brain is plastic. So we call that neuroplasticity. So whatever we think and whatever we keep repeating on our brain, it strengthens that neurotransmitter in our brain. And if we think so much of pain and anything bad that's happening to us, we'll be more depressed and we'll be more in pain. But if we change how we think, which is a good thing because our brain have the capacity to change our thoughts, then we're going to be better off in life. So understanding how pain works is a good thing so that we can be able to manage our pain.
I've actually heard a lot about that. I hear online saying, oh, you know, if you think less about the pain, you'll feel it less because of that reason. I didn't know if it was true or not though. Speaking of the truth, are there any myths or misconceptions about pain that you hear a lot that you wish weren't so common?
So the misconceptions about pain is they said that pain is only managed by medication. But actually, according to the research study, there's 22 other ways that we could manage pain. And that is non-invasive. One is physiotherapy, another one is pain neuroscience education, which we tell the patients, and breathing exercises, walking, aerobic exercises, and a lot more. And this is a picture of the brain that is highly stressed. So in this case, pain would stop or slow down if we understand how to manage pain better. So the more the brain is threatened, the more we'll get pain. So if you are interested in learning more about the other aspects, the other ways to deal with pain, please feel free to contact us anytime. We'll be very happy to provide that information to you.
What you mentioned earlier was quite true, that sometimes people will tell us, pain is only on your mind. While it is true that the brain processes the pain, but pain is real. Pain exists, and it is personal. The way we feel it may be different from other people because, you may not be able to manifest it physically outside or you don't see any bruise, but it doesn't mean that you don't have pain.
When the patient comes to us, we treat patient based on not just the symptoms and the injury, but based on the whole picture. So you're looking at the biopsychosocial model, you're looking at treating the injury, and at the same time, you're also looking at the emotional aspect. So how is the coping mechanism of this person, the emotion, the thoughts, and then you're looking at the stress, anxiety, and depression, which you guys mentioned earlier. And on top of that, we have to also look if there's availability of treatment. What is the family background? Is there something that's stressing out this person more? And then we have to eliminate those. And as a physiotherapist, we have to understand and put things together so that we could create a treatment plan that's best suited for the person, because pain is very personalized.
So when it comes to being a teenager, I find that we deal with a lot of different things, whether it's school stress, staying on our phones all day, or just sitting for long periods of time. Why is it important to prevent or manage the pain we experience in everyday life, even if it doesn't feel that serious?
As a matter of fact, anxiety increases your pain. That's why some kids, they feel anxiety, and if they have pain existing there, it aggravates it more.
Yes, and in medicine, prevention is always better than cure. So you don't wait till something happens to you before you act on it. And you can actually go to physiotherapist even without any doctor's prescription, because physio could actually, is an independent practitioner, so we could help right away. So what we can do is we want prevention. So before all your muscles and joints would get stiff, you might as well wanted to start stretching, doing some exercises. And there's a lot of different ways to manage our pain too. One is taking medications, and the other one, there's 22 other ways according to the research on managing pain. That includes relaxation, pain neuroscience education, which I usually would teach and telling the patient stories, breathing exercises, yoga, which you'll be doing later, even journaling, and many more. And if they wanted more information, they could actually contact us, and we're very happy to provide that information.
Wow, I think we all learned a little something today, right, guys?
Yes.
I didn't know there were 22 other ways of dealing with pain like that.
Yes, and these are all evidence-based, which is really good.
That's really cool. Now I have new ways to deal with my pain every day. Up next, Anne and Raymond will actually be teaching us some special strategies to help you guys deal with your pain. So stay tuned and follow along.
Now that we've talked about pain and what it is and why it matters, we are going to try some strategies to help us manage it. Now, we have Pam here, who is a physiotherapist, to walk us through some of those strategies. So, take it away, Pam.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about posture because this is very vital, in school. Because sometimes when you're in school, you always stoop, right? And so when you're in a stoop position, it creates a lot of pain on the neck and on the shoulders. It compresses some nerves there. So again, it sends signals to the brain, causes pain there. So one way to correct that posture is that, so for example, you're looking forward, and then your chin, so you do a chin tuck. So you bring your chin to your throat, release it a little bit, making sure that you don't have that double chin, and then making sure that the chin is parallel to the floor. And then with that, you accompany that with the shoulder. So you roll your shoulders back, bring it down, and then squeeze your shoulder blades together. Okay, so with that, it automatically straightens the mid-back and gives that normal curvature on your spine there. So one way to do this, if you want it easier, like when you're in school, right? You can do bending at the elbows, thumb up this way, and then what you do, you point your thumb backwards, and that's going to help. You feel that stretch. You feel that tension on your shoulder blade. So that's going to help straighten your back, and then release that, and that's your perfect posture.
Oh my God.
So that's what you do. That's a technique for you to have that perfect posture while you're in school. So there are certain stretches that you could do too to eliminate that tightness on the neck, as you're always like this, right, in school. Yeah, when you're looking at your cell phone, you're always this way, right? So what you need to do as a part of like an exercise routine, what you could do is put your 2 fingers on your chin, and then push the chin towards your throat, and you should feel that stretch at the back of your neck, and that should be for your suboccipital muscles. So that's going to stretch it out. Okay, you hold that for about 5 seconds, and then you do that for about 10 repetitions, okay? So the other exercise would be to stretch the side muscles of your neck. And so what you need to do is you bring your hand behind your back. Good girls, okay. Put your hand on top of your head, and then bring your ear towards your opposite shoulder. And feel that stretch. You feel that?
Ooh,
yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So with this stretch, you have to hold it for 15 seconds. Okay. And then do this for about 5 repetitions, and do that the other way. There you go. Yeah. So that's stretching the side muscles of your neck. All right. Feel that stretch?
Yeah.
Great. And then there's another stretch to stretch a little bit at the back of the neck there. Still the same. You put your hand behind your back, and then one hand on top of your head, and then you point your nose to your armpit as if you're smelling your armpit. Hope's not bad. And then what you do is you hold it again for 15 seconds, and you do that for about 5 repetitions, and then go back and do that on the opposite side. And there you go. All right. Feel that stretch?
Yes, I do. I feel better already.
Great. Yes. And sometimes there's a tightening on your shoulder blades there too, because you're stooped this way, right? So what you need to do, you put your hand over your opposite shoulder, put your hand on the elbow, and push it back. You should feel that stretch on your shoulder blade. You feel that? Yes. Feel it?
Like towards?
Yeah, going back. This way. Yeah, feel it? Yeah, okay. 15 seconds hold. Do about 5 repetitions, do it on both sides. There you go. All right. Okay, and there's another stretch. You put your hands behind your neck, clasp them together, all right? And bring your elbows backwards. All right, there you go. About 15 seconds hold. Do it for 5 repetitions, and this is going to help expand your chest. You should feel that stretch on your, we call this the pectoral muscles here. And that's gonna assist in breathing. Yeah, so those are the most important stretches while you're seated. Okay.
Wow.
Oh my God.
So these are exercises that you could do since that you're constantly sitting in school or in the office. So the first exercise would be to stretch the spine. So what you need to do is you put your hands on your thigh and then slide your hand down to your knees, all the way down to the floor. And if you can touch the floor, that's fine. You hold this for about 15 seconds, and you do this for about 5 repetitions. And that should help to stretch the spine. And to prevent the pressure on the butt cheeks since you're sitting too long, so what you need to do is you put your leg over the opposite shoulder, put your hand on the knee, and then what you do, raise it up a little bit and stretch it diagonally. And that should help stretch the butt cheek at the same time the side muscle of your thigh. Again, holding this for 15 seconds. You do this for about 5 repetitions and doing it on both sides. Now the other stretch would be very easy, and this is to twist your spine because you're sitting a lot in a straight line. So you need to also stretch the side muscles here. So what you do, you just hug yourself and then just do a quick turn, just a good stretch there, holding this for 15 seconds and going back and doing this for 5 repetitions, and you do this 5 times. So now if you're feeling anxious, there's a breathing exercise that you could do. So what you need to do is you put your one hand on your chest, okay, one hand on the diaphragm, so this is just below your rib cage there. And then what you do, you inhale through your nose, and then you blow from your mouth as if you're blowing out a candle. So you do this 4 times, but not more than 4 times, because what happens is that you might hyperventilate. So you just do that 4 times. So inhale through your nose, blow from your mouth. Okay, let's do that 4 times. Inhale and blow from your mouth. And again, inhale, blow from your mouth. And again, inhale and exhale. And just your normal breathing. And that's gonna take away your anxiety.
That was really calming.
Yes.
I love that. Oh my gosh.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much. That was really
welcome.
helpful. Today reminded us that pain isn't always visible, but it's real, whether it's physical or emotional. But learning how to manage it, even in small ways, can make a big difference. Thanks for joining us. Take care of your bodies, and we will see you here next time at Epic Gen Table Talk.